The Boyfriends webtoon is a comic series revolving around the four main characters Goth, Prep, Jock, and Nerd, which, as you can probably assume, aren't their actual names and are just very obviously stereotypes made into characters. The comic features a more episodic slice-of-life style of storytelling, but it also leans into more overarching plot points from time to time. I mean, it kind of has to, since it revolves around the relationships of the main cast. With its first episode on Webtoon Originals airing on April 19th of 2021, it's safe to say that since then, it's gained a monumental amount of popularity amongst the public, whether that be good or bad. Especially nowadays that things like being queer are more socially acceptable, and people are pushing for more representation in mainstream media. It was seen as a sort of godsend of gay, trans, and poly rep at the time. I personally read it during the peak of its popularity, but I haven't really bothered to keep up with it since. However, with popularity inevitably comes drama. The series was under fire for many things: fetishization, stereotyping, and being not so great representation, along with countless other scandals involving the author, including, but not limited to, pedophilia, racism, and anti-Semitism. So today, because I'm a trans gay poly person who is on Thanksgiving break with nothing better to do, let's talk about why this originally extremely promising comic turned into the subject of mockery that it is today, with bits of my own opinion sprinkled in, because I feel like, as egotistical as this sounds, my opinion matters more than most of yours on this topic. Also, yes, I know I'm very late to the party. Let's start with the easiest to debunk out of all of these. As upsetting as it is for me to say this, with the growth of the queer community, queer fetishists have also grown in population. Whether it be that weird 30-year-old man who said, "That's hot," when you said you rejected him because you're a lesbian, or the either 12-year-old girls or the 20-year-old women on the internet who cream their pants at the sight of two anime men kissing. Queer fetishists seem to be everywhere these days. Honestly, I don't know if I would prefer you call me a slur or tell me that I'm an uwu bottom. And you'll never guess, but this comic has been accused of being fetishistic. I don't know if you people actually bother to do your research or if you're just illiterate, but the author is a trans gay poly man, which is everything this comic depicts. People are saying that because this comic shows a few scenes of the main characters being sexual towards each other, the comic is fetishizing gay relationships. Ah, yes, because how dare gay people have sex? And how dare that be depicted by a gay author? Look, just because you're all used to gay fetishists using sex scenes as their main source of fetishization doesn't mean that all gay people having sex is fetishization. Gay people have sex sometimes. Wow. Mind blown. Honestly, most of the fetishization arguments can be debunked by just bringing up the fact that the author is a trans gay man, so I'm gonna move on. Like I said in the beginning, the four main characters are basically just stereotypes of characters in every high school movie ever, but made into people. I never really understood why people have such an issue with this, because I've always thought it was just a pretty fun way of creating characters using archetypes. But I think people are confusing it with being stereotypes of gay people specifically. I don't know if you've ever seen any sort of high school show before, but these are literally just stereotypes of high school students in those overdramatic movies and TV series, not stereotypes of gay people in particular. I think what many people forget is that this comic is meant to be a slice of life, not a drama or anything else. It's just to have fun with these four characters and depict their everyday life as a polyamorous gay couple. It's not meant to be your quote-unquote ideal representation, or have all these convoluted, overarching plot lines like people say it should be. Just because it happens to feature queer people doesn't mean it has to be representation-oriented. I mean, I've always felt that the whole LGBTQ+ rights movement has been about accepting and normalizing queer people as just, people. Normal, everyday people that you see on the streets. I feel like forcing a popular queer series to be representation-focused is just going against that very principle. Why can't we just have a popular series containing queer people that are just queer? I forgot to mention this in the original recording, but imagine if that was a straight couple. But people would be like, how dare you not correctly depict this couple? How dare you not do everything that me and my boyfriend do? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So why should it apply to queer couples? Hell, I rather like it as it is. Sure, I like being represented as much as the next person, but do you know what I like even more? Having a trait that I have considered abnormal and scrutinized my entire life be treated as something normal. That's why, if a piece of media I read depicts things like homophobia or transphobia, 9 times out of 10 I'll just turn away, because, well, I already have to deal with those things in my everyday life. Why should I be reminded that they exist during the time that I try to spend away from all my issues? I mean, imagine if a slice of life containing a straight couple was criticized for the same things that this comic was being criticized for. How dare a man and a woman be implied to have sex? How dare a man and a woman be a stereotypical couple? How dare this author depict a man and a woman being romantically involved? This ended up having more to do with my own view on representation than anything else, but whatever. It's my channel, my video, and my video essay, so I'll do whatever the hell I want to. Before I get into the copious amounts of controversy involving the author, I feel like it's important to note the distinction between the art and the artist, aka that famous saying, separate the art from the artist. While it is completely your choice whether or not you choose to support the comic because of the author specifically, a large majority, in fact, I think none, of the drama surrounding the author does not actually impact their work. As such, I personally am treating the two as separate entities. It's completely up to you whether or not you do the same. I mean, it's not like I can stick a gun to your head and tell you what to do. At this point, I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother has heard of the popular K-pop group BTS. The author of Boyfriends, Ray, apparently drew NSFW of the BTS members while they were still underage, which is both questionable because of that, and because they're real people. But however weird it is to draw NSFW of real people, it definitely wasn't pedophilia, because Ray was also underage at the time. We can argue all day and night about how morally questionable NSFW art of celebrities is, but at the end of the day, it's not pedophilia no matter which way you twist it. Honestly, the word pedophile and other terms similar to it have been so overused lately that I'm not sure most people even know what the real meaning to it is. Words have lost so much meaning and value because of people just throwing them around haphazardly, but that's a topic for another day. Additionally, it used to be far more socially acceptable on the internet to make things like NSFW of celebrities when this most likely took place. I know just because something is normal doesn't make it right, but I believe that makes it more understandable as to why it occurred in the first place. Plus, Ray himself has already addressed this topic and expressed remorse over it, so it's not like he's unapologetic or anything. Yes, the author of Boyfriends has said the N-word in the past. Yes, he's addressed and apologized for it. I'm not gonna say anything more than that because I'm not black and I don't have a place to speak on it, so here's a screenshot. Make of it what you will. Once again, I am not Jewish, so I have no right to decide whether or not this is a forgivable offense. Best I can do is provide the evidence, so here it is. These tweets were made in 2016, where, on that same day, apparently a major Indonesian religious group were planning to ban Pokemon Go based on a rumor that had been floating around saying that the app was somehow converting people to Judaism. Depicted in the screenshots was a sarcastic exchange between Ray and their friend, where they were both making fun of the situation at hand. It is, in my opinion, pretty obviously a joke, but people misunderstood it as being an attack on Jewish people. Based on the fact that I got all this information from a thread made by Ray himself, he has addressed and apologized for the situation, which honestly shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. I understand not being able to tell tone, especially over the internet, but come on. Man used that many explanation points and you think it's serious? To bring it all back full circle, I feel like this whole thing has been blown way out of proportion, hence my video title. Everyone and their mother has gathered to dogpile on a comic that really didn't do all that much wrong. And if you're gonna bring up the cringy ass ads, those weren't made by the creator, you know. Ads are handled by Webtoon themselves and they have pretty questionable marketing skills. I've seen an embarrassing amount of videos on my YouTube homepage just like shitting on this comic and saying, oh no, it's fucking shit, bro, it's horrible, and it's like, what's the fucking big deal, man? At the end of the day, Boyfriends is just a slice of life comic about 4 stereotypes made into boys, who are doing their best navigating their first polyamorous relationship, and honestly, that's all it needs to be. Gay, trans, and poly representation at the time. Okay. And you'll never guess, but this comic has been accused of being fetishistic. Fetishistic. Is it even, hold on. Wait, this is a disorder? Fetishistic disorder is characterized by a distressing and persistent pattern of sexual arousal involving the use of non-living objects or specific— okay. It's fucking disorder now. Okay, whatever. Fetishistic. I'm gonna assume it's fetishistic. People are saying that because the comic shows a few scenes of the main characters being sexual towards each other. Sorry, that was phlegm in my throat, not me dying at the mention of sexualizing. Yeah, I should have gotten a drink of water before this. Ow. I need to check my Twitter notifications. Like, why can't we have a popular series containing queer people that are just being queer and normal? Okay, that sounded mean. Why can't we have a popular series? Why can't we have— how do I articulate this? Sure, I like being represented. Represented. How dare a gay— I didn't mean to say that. As such, I personally am treating— okay. Feel a burp coming up. Okay, I'm fine. Plus, Ray himself has already addressed this topic in can't say the goddamn word. These tweets were made in 2016, where on the same day, apparently a major Indonesian religious group were planning on banning Pokemon Go based on the rumor— that is a long-ass fucking sentence. Why did I write that?